Incubators and representatives from various bodies present here. Today, as some of you might be aware, is also the Innovation Day that is celebrated on 16th February every year to mark the spirit of innovation and entrepreneurship in the country and also internationally. So on this day, we just thought of doing something around the theme of inclusivity and inclusive innovations. Because as we know, technology and innovation does exasperate some amount of divide also in terms of getting everyone together. So for us to be making conscious efforts on inclusion is very important, and it begins in schools. Atal Tinkering Labs, as you know, is a flagship initiative of Atal Innovation Mission. We have established already 10,000 such labs. This is one of its kind makerspace program all across the world, where at the school level, students are taught to imbibe the spirit of innovation in their curriculum, in their practice, and also go on to become innovators who solve real-world problems in future. On this inclusivity theme, it is my pleasure to tell you that India has always been hailed as a laboratory of frugal and inclusive innovations. This drive for innovation is visible across all sectors, and education is no exception. In view of inclusion, teachers, educators, and other stakeholders from civil society organizations need to know how to develop various ways to engage and reward students who work on inclusive domains, as well as inclusive teaching strategies and practices in science education, classrooms, and labs. At Atal Innovation Mission, we design our school programs with a view to reach the widest group of demographics. We believe that all students, regardless of the labels, should be members of the general education community, and that students with and without disabilities should have access to the full range of curriculum options. With this, it gives me immense pleasure to welcome you to the panel discussion on inclusion by ATL students and inclusive innovation by ATL students. Let me introduce you to the panel. We have the kind presence of Ms. Nupur Jhunjhunwala, who is a great, remarkable leader in the field of inclusivity. She is the trustee and co-founder of Change Inc. and has been a lifelong advocate of building equitable, inclusive societies with extensive experience of working for the advancement of gender equality, financial inclusion, education, digital inclusion, and accessibility. May I please request Nupuji to join us on stage, please? Please have a huge round of applause for her. Our next panelist is Ms. Himani Kohli, who is a teacher in Paschim Enclave DAV School and is also the ATL in charge of the schools. She has a PhD in electronics from Delhi University and a background spanning electronics and nanotechnology. She has also been developing pharmacological and biomedical devices for healing wounds. Her contributions include 3 international and national journal papers, 5 conference papers, and the honor of a DRDO research fellowship. May I please welcome Himani ji to join us on stage, please? Our next panelist is Dr. Neeru Mittal from SRDAV Public School. She is also the ATL in charge of the school. She has been awarded by the government of Delhi and the government of India for various accolades, some of which you might already be aware. She has vast experience in programming languages and developing learning tools for students. She is also the member of Innovation Council for the students and has won the National ICT Award by the Ministry of Education. Please welcome her on the panel. Now up to the real innovators that we have, and you all will be very delighted in this session to meet them. We have 3 students from various backgrounds of Atal Tinkering Labs who are doing great things in inclusive innovation themselves, and some of them also come from challenged backgrounds. It is my pleasure to welcome first Namish Srivastava from DPS Faridabad, a student with ADHD and learning disability. You'd be happy to know that Namish has a penchant for space exploration and astrophotography. He has emerged as an exemplary innovator and has shown excellence in various academic projects like smart automation and an eco-smart product. Please welcome Namesh to the stage. We also have Aditya with us from Shankar Vihar. Aditya is a student who has embarked on a journey of innovation and conceptualized several projects aimed at creating tangible difference. He has ventured into the realms of environmental sustainability in ATLs with his innovative thinking. Please welcome Aditya on stage, please. Our final participant for the panel discussion is Vedika, who is from Amity International School, which is a body of the Amity College itself. Vedika is a student studying in class 8 and has active interest in doing projects for the development of inclusive education and also working for different communities. Please welcome Vedika on stage. In this session, we have the privilege of moderation by Nupurji himself, and we would like to hand over proceedings to her for getting us an insight on the Innovation Day and the panel itself. Nupurji.
Thank you so much. So before we start, we have such a great panel. I want to ask you a question. Can you guess in this room things that have been innovated and invented by people by disabilities? Or something that you use in your daily life that has been an innovation of a person with a disability? Come on, it's not a trick question. Okay, iPhone, yes, Steve Jobs. He had dyslexia. There is more, I promise. Sorry? Do you use Braille every day? Okay. Light bulb. Thomas Edison. How many of you all study physics? Have studied physics at some point? Einstein. He had a learning disability. He was actually thrown out of school for being a slow learner. And he's known to be at Princeton and say, I could never do a calculation in my life. How many of you all use a car? Koi nahi, all sustainable, yeah? So Henry Ford, he had a learning disability. When was the last time you took a flight? Wright brothers? So, you know, and I can go on and on. 40% of the world's self-made millionaires are actually dyslexic and have a learning disability. It's nothing to be ashamed of. In fact, they're the only people who have actually changed our world. 25% of the CEOs of the world are dyslexic. They make the best leaders because they're great at delegating and keeping the higher order thinking, innovation. I see a good mix of women and men, so the same applies to gender. Okay, I have another question. How many of you have used an assistive technology tool in your life? Come on. Can you name some? Can you name something that you've used? Specs, yes. Most common. But now very cool, one of the biggest accessories in the fashion industry. What else? Smart watches, okay. Okay. But that's too vague. What feature in your phone? Okay, assistive tech. Spell check. Who uses spell check? It's my savior. I've never sent an email or a document without spell check. That was created for people with learning disabilities, right? The reason I'm asking you all to think about this is our notion of inclusion is often very exclusionary. These people are different from us. They are unable to do certain things. That's why we need to help them, right? And we have a panel here that actually tells us that we were wrong in that perception. And we have a lot of leaders and inventions that we use in our daily life. So when we talk about assistive tech, we often talk about assistive tech for a community and चलो इनको support कर देते हैं, उनकी life easy हो जाती है. Guess what? Today the podcast industry and the audiobook industry is one of the largest. It was created for people with visual impairment. Right? Today, I think how many of us actually read a book? So I think these are things that we should think about as we go into our panel. So I have some questions. I would like to start with Namish. Can we start with you? Yeah. So Namish, tell me that your project showcase a remarkable blend of innovation and environmental consciousness, right? Talk a little bit about your innovation and how technology plays a role and how the ATL labs have helped you hone in this passion.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Namish Vastava. I am from 8th grade from DPS Gate of Faridabad. Uh, so first, let me brief you about my project. Then I will answer your question. My project's name is Eco Smart Park. Its use is to save energy in a sustainable way. It has the moisture sensor which will turn on the water pump in case dryness exceeds a certain level. Then it has the LDR sensor which will turn on the park lights when there is darkness around it. Then we have piezo crystals which is installed on the sidewalk of the park. When people walk on it, it will produce electricity which will be used to power the water pump and the park lights. Then it has the compost pit in which residents can put their food waste or any other type of wet waste to produce manure, which will help in the overall development of the plants in the park. Like my project makes the earth sustainable, we should also think about space. Space debris and space junk is a major problem. It can fall towards Earth and cause major problem in its future space missions. We should use innovative technology to remove them. We have made a satellite with guidance of real institute scientists. It is a weather satellite which it will measure the temperature and humidity of a place. We recently went to the Indian International Science Fair, which was held in Faridabad, where we made several sensor-based projects. We also made a satellite. We also hold the world record for making the most satellites in a single day. I think that the skills and learning at this age will help me pursue space as my career. Thank you.
Namish, how old are you?
14.
You're just 14, are you sure?
Yes.
Oh, wow, I couldn't imagine doing so much science so early. So I think this opportunity that you have a learning disability, so obviously studies are probably not easy for you, but to be able to do all this exciting innovation stuff, hold a record already, put satellites to measure things, how does it feel to you? Do you think this is your calling? Is this what you want to do?
Yes, ma'am.
That's excellent. So young and inspiring. Thank you, Namish, for sharing that. Vedika, can we come to you? So Vedika, you're a girl. What are you doing in innovation?
Hello everybody, my name is Vedika Bhargava. I am from Amity International School. I am 13 years old and in ATL lab I have been doing research on space debris and this is what I have found till now. I have found out that humans have managed to pollute the earth's air, water and soil and now are spending huge amounts of money cleaning it. And now space is slowly also getting polluted by broken rockets and satellites. And the satellites orbit the Earth at a very high velocity, so they can also collide with the future spacecraft and can possibly kill astronauts. The race between the countries is increasing in space debris every year, and in our generation, I hope that we can find a way to reduce space debris and to clean it. And we can also give a big thumbs down to the um, trendy uh, space missions. And I have done all this research in ATL lab.
Thank you, Vedika. That's very inspiring. I never thought about polluting space as well. So humans, can you believe it, didn't have enough kachra to put apne neighborhood mein. Now we are going up to space. Next, what is going to happen, right? Like maybe we need to get garbage dumps in Mars and not find human life. But jokes apart, thank you. That's very inspiring. And I see the gamut of work that's happening in Atal tinkering, right? Like when you use the word tinkering, we don't think about space solutions and satellites. I think this is an eye-opener for us. Like I'm thinking they're doing some experiments, chota mota. We used to do wo color change ho gaya, and that was the stuff that we grew up with. So this is excellent to see you guys being budding scientists. Aditya, let me ask you, your dedication in innovation addressing issues with environmental sustainability, human security is really commendable. Can you talk to us a little bit about this project and why you chose it?
So I'm inspired because I was upbringing in a society where the security of the nation is mentioned and it is the main point of the nation. Like I am a army person's ward, so I have developed a project named as Kavach Kiran. It is integrated with a thermal sensor. So it will be used in nights to capture human beings in natural disasters. And it can be used in army for several purposes, like target acquisition in night, which is very hard, like in forests. And it can be used in research and rescue operations and mine detection too. And I have developed an AI-enabled counter-drone system. So it is based on a wired camera, and it will detect a drone, and its details will be displayed on the same screen, so that we are not using radar, which is very costly. And radar uses a satellite connection which can be neutralized. But in our case, we are using a camera which is wired, not a wireless camera. So it can't be neutralized easily. And the range of the camera can be increased by using a high-quality cameras or 360-degree rotatable cameras. So I'm inspired because of the upbringing in my life. Like I'm an army wards, as I have told you. That's why I have delved into the security. And I have also developed one more project named as Hydro Ascension Autonomous Device. So it has a unique feature in it. It will detect unconsciousness or specifically hypoxic blackout, which will occur during like divers dive below 300 feet. So it will detect hypoxic blackout and it will autonomously ascend a diver to the water surface level. And as you know, divers go with a crew. So the crew will be notified using an application, and the connection will be using the specific radars and sonars, so that the connection is not broken easily. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That's very inspiring. So I have a question for all three students before we go to the teachers, right? What about the Atal Tinkering Labs is exciting to you? What does it do, or how do you use it to come to all these great ideas and projects that you all are working on? Can you talk about some of that experience? Who would like to go first?
So ATL lab provides me with tools and opportunities. Like I have gone to PPC, Pariksha Pe Charcha exhibition because of ATL lab. A visit has been held in our lab by Directorate of Education. So he came to our lab and he saw our project Kavach Kiran, and he also said that like you will be given an opportunity there. So ATL lab is a type of platform for me. So, which brings opportunities for me, and it provides me with tools and applications which I can use for further development of my skills. Thank you.
Would you like to go next?
Yes, ATL Lab has also provided me with opportunities, and what I like most about is that I really have an interest towards whatever the topic is, and I think that's what I like.
Okay. Namish, would you like to tell me a little bit about why you like the ATL labs and how it helps you?
I found that the hardware part and software part really interesting. It really fascinates me. Thank you.
Thank you. So let's get to the teachers who are actually enabling all these intelligent kids and bringing out their talent. I think it's very inspiring to see young people follow their passion and think at such levels. At such a young age, it is very rare to see. But congratulations, all of y'all. Y'all are doing brilliant work. So Himani ji, if I can get to you, could you share some insights into the iterative process that your students undergo when they develop assistive technologies? How do you sort of navigate through the challenges, understand the problem statement, incorporate user feedback maybe, and ultimately refine that prototype? I also want you to talk a little bit about why assistive technologies is interesting and students are taking to it.
Very warm greetings, everyone. I am Dr. Himani Kohli. After serving at DRDO for 5 years, I got back to this Atal Tinkering Lab, thought of serving my nation in a better way, where I could nurture such young minds, what innovation is. Way back, 15 years back, when I was in school, there was no innovation or something fostering like that. And I was very much fascinated by this fact that in such a young age, at the age of when they are just 10 years, they are being introduced to innovation concepts. And what here at our Atal Tinkering Lab, what we are teaching them is a core principle of design thinking. They need to first observe the problems around them. They need to be sensitized. They need to be empathetic rather than sympathy. At our times, we used to use a word sympathy. Gone are those days. Now they need to be in the footsteps of the user, what the other person is feeling. Every day I tell to my students, just go back home or on the way back to home, just observe one problem statement. Think of it. What is the problem? And how is that particular user facing? It could be a laborer. It could be anybody who is cleaning the roads every day. Just think of that person. And then they come back. We discuss their thing. We discuss deep dive into it, make a team of 3 or 4, and then they brainstorm their ideas. We sit back together, what can be done? And after collecting all the ideas, they start making a prototype of all the technologies which are available in our lab. So likewise, we start working, we create a prototype, a version, then we go back to a nearby user which is available and ask what is, if you get this product, will it be helpful? Will it reduce your labor work? Or in what ways can we refine that? So that is how we take back it to community. Come back, reflect, and work on those feedbacks and work it. So that is how we are working in the ATL labs. And it is very, very heartening that one of my students, Aditya, has identified the problem of potholes. And potholes, they are causing major damage to everybody, and those silly potholes, they create a lot of havocs and accidents. So he identified that problem, and on working for iterative process, we developed 4 models, and that child has got an opportunity along with his team members, Prince and Kunal, Shaurya. They represented it on National Technology Day in front of Pradhan Mantri ji, and I'm really gladful to AIM team for giving us this opportunity. Not only this, we keep on working for farmers, developing a farm bot, and recently he developed a talk scribe bot which takes your words, convert it into the text, and write it for the user. So that is very heartening to see the students are doing and developing such things for as per the user needs. Thank you.
That's amazing. So if you need a student to try out
Platform for girls to come forward. So all walks from all backgrounds. We have art students, we have 10 to all girls teams, and
with these young future of likewise.
Will be left over. Niru ma'am.
they not only showcase their projects, they also help them build something small, something sustainable, something tangible. So those students also, now I would say many schools in Uttarakhand now know what is Atal Tinkering Lab, and they have applied for Atal Tinkering Lab as well. We have involved schools from tribal schools. Tribal schools are special schools by the Ministry of Tribal Affairs, and we have collaborated with a school in Rajasthan. And on Atal Community Day, we collaborated with them online, and it was the first time that they saw something which was technical. They could see what is a sensor and what is what is a robot, what's a 3D printer. So all these initiatives are possible because we have these Atal Tinkering Lab in our school, and we have the culture of innovation. As I said, the fearless culture of innovation. One thing I would like to add here is we have had this mentor-mentee program since 2 years. And because of that, our students, we make sure that our students mentor students from class 5 and 4. I think all of us know that Atal Tinkering Lab is for classes 6 to 12. So students from class 5, 4 are equally, I would say, innovative, equally intelligent. So we had that culture in our school. And because of that, last year, a design thinking lab was established in our school, and we call it the Junior ATL Lab. So because of all these initiatives, and I think Atal Sarthi, as you said, has helped us in all these initiatives.
So this is really impacting grassroots innovations as well, at the school level as well?
Yes, as I said, students from the primary now know what is Atal Tinkering Lab. They visit the lab under the mentorship. We have Atal ATL ambassadors, and I forgot to mention that, in our school because we have to encourage students for innovation. So we have a culture of innovation. So we have ATL ambassadors, students who do exceptionally well, who have been with us. We have a period allocated, the 0 period for them. They come to the lab, they do innovations, they lead. That means they lead. Not only they do their own innovations, they lead and they help other students. So we have ATL ambassadors who, as we say, they help other students, and it all cascades down, and it has now reached class 4th, 5th, 3rd. So 3rd onwards we have the design thinking lab, and hopefully we'll be going till the nursery, maybe someday.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. I think we did have scope for 3 questions, and those were duly answered. Let me thank the whole panel for this wonderful discussion on Innovation Day. It couldn't have been more appropriate to select a day for this kind of discussion. Thank you, Nupur ma'am. Thank you, Neeruji. Thank you, Imaniji, Aditya, Vedika, Namesh, all of you. Thank you for sparing time and coming and letting this audience know what inclusivity is, not only in principle but in practice. Thank you so much. With this, I hand over proceedings for the next session to Vitasta.